As caregivers dedicate themselves to supporting others, it's essential to remember that their mental health is just as important. Today we have Dr. Nicole Crawford with Keep Moving Forward Consulting joining us to discuss the importance of caregivers' mental health and how they can maintain their well-being while caring for others. That's the big challenge, isn't it, Dr. Crawford? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We need to hear this from time to time. Caregivers need to understand that their mental health is just as important as the physical exhaustion they can probably sometimes feel when caring for their loved ones.
A lot of times we separate our mental health from our physical health, but they're very much intertwined. If you're feeling physically tired, you might be mentally tired. If you're mentally tired, it can lead to you feeling physically tired. So we have to put more stock into our mental health and well-being and how we pay attention to what that looks like for us as individuals, for each caregiver's individual journey.
I think that's important because stress can build. We get busy, we just put something off, and then wouldn't you know it, it all catches up to you in an instant, and you have a mental break where you just want to scream into the refrigerator or something. But when caregivers get to that point or feel themselves, how do you help them gauge, to kind of keep that in check along the way instead of letting it build up, letting all that stress build up?
Teaching people to know where their breaking point is and learn what are the things that trigger you. Have you had enough sleep? Have you had enough food? Have you had enough time outside doing something you enjoy? Have you had time to talk to your friends? So it's the self-care and the external things, but there's the internal compass. What have I done to check in with myself today? Where am I at on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being I'm really irritable today, so maybe I need to take a couple steps back before I go try to address my loved one's needs. Maybe I just need to vent to somebody. Who can I call? What kind of support systems do I have in place? What's out there in the community for me to be able to communicate with somebody how I feel?
Self-care and mental health often do really go hand in hand. When the kids say, go out and touch grass, if you're feeling upset, really going out into nature can help that mental health portion of it. Maybe a simple strategy like that. What are some tips, some practical tips that people can put into action for their mental health as a caregiver?
Go outside for a few minutes. If it's sunny Florida, go outside for a few minutes. 5 minutes of sun will do you more justice than sitting in the room for 10 minutes. Go outside, get a few minutes of sun, wash your face, check in with yourself. A lot of times we don't take the opportunity to check in just to ask myself, how am I feeling today? And to validate that feeling, whatever it is. I feel overwhelmed today, and that's okay to be overwhelmed. What do we do with that? Are there people we can call on to help support us? Are there other avenues that we can use to just lessen the load somehow? And if you don't have that in your life, maybe there's a community support that can help you with that.
Yeah, so talk about community support, because there are resources out there that can help your mental health in terms of getting some respite care. Having an activity for your loved one to go to while you go and do something else for yourself that gives you that mental break.
So every part of this country has an area agency on aging. You can always start there. You can start at your local office on aging. Orange County has one. You can start with the big resources. But if your situation is Alzheimer's or dementia, there's these Alzheimer's Foundation of America, the Alzheimer's Association, different organizations that have hotlines that you can just call and vent to somebody. The MS Society, Multiple Sclerosis Society, has that same kind of hotline. So just reaching out to the different resources that are available. You can Google most of them, but if it's specific to the diagnosis your loved one has, use those resources specific. If not, the National Institute on Aging has a wealth of information on their websites, and just try to find out and ask somebody to ask somebody. Somebody knows.
That's really good advice. And I think that once you start looking, it sounds like the resources are there and can lead you to something else that's going to be right for your situation to help you get that that mental break or mental health break that you need to continue to be the best caregiver, because it all just does go hand in hand.
Absolutely. If your mental health is not taken care of, you're not at full capacity to help somebody else take care of themselves. And being a caregiver, that's what you're doing on a regular basis. But sometimes we need to think and turn that care back to ourselves. I've been there, so I know, I've done that professionally and personally. We really do have to pay attention to how our lives are affected by what we're doing and what we're doing to take care of ourselves.
I know that even, taking a few deep breaths really can scientifically will lower your heart rate.
Yes.
Different things like that we just have to remind ourselves. Is there kind of a good reminder for you, like maybe it's after you brush your teeth in the morning, something that people can do just to be like, let me start the day, thinking about my mental health and putting myself first?
Before your feet hit the floor and you get up, ask myself, how am I today? Maybe go look in the mirror and say, you know what? I might not be okay right now, but today's going to be a good day. So having those internal dialogues to give yourself a pep talk maybe when you need one, or creating some kind of morning ritual for yourself that gives you that few minutes of time before you have to go and be present for everybody else. Those are a couple things that I would suggest people do.
Really setting the tone then.
Yes, and being intentional about setting the tone for your day. And don't forget, you can start your day over. In the midst of the day, go in the bathroom, wash your hands, wash your face, and reset.
That's very important, because I think that we take a lot of it on and we think, oh, today's just been so stressful. The next moment could be the most joyous moment. You just have to give yourself the opportunity to be ready for something wonderful to happen.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a good discussion and a good reminder for caregivers to take little steps, because all those little steps add up to good things for your mental health.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Crawford, for joining us today. And if you would like more information, she's got great advice. You can reach her via email at kmfconsults@gmail.com.